This footage shows the straight-up savage moment King Von got caught lacking in a beef that took him out. Despite his death being captured on camera and the 5-0 confirming his demise, straight trippy footage of King Von still alive is rocking the internet. Not only is this footage going viral, but Kosha also claimed that she spoke to King Von 16 times after his death.
He came to me and, he talked to me. He gave me messages to give to his family to let him know he's really around me.
In this video, I will show you the doubt-breaking footage of King Von still alive that is going viral. Disturbing footage. In the years following the tragic death of Chicago drill rapper King Von on November 6, 2020, word filled the streets that the rapper was still alive and kicking. According to these rumors, surveillance videos or cell phone recordings supposedly capture the rapper in various locations following the November 2020 incident. These alleged videos claim to show the rapper in various cities across the states and even overseas, apparently living a low-key life away from the public eye. Another common conspiracy theory suggests that King Von's body was never found, or that the person killed that night was not actually the rapper, but a body double. People pushing this theory point to supposed inconsistencies in reporting about the night of his death and claim that the quick removal of his body from the scene was mad suspicious. This claim directly contradicts official reports from multiple credible sources, stating that King Von was transported to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. The Atlanta Police Department confirmed that Von was taken to a local hospital in critical condition following the shooting, and his death was officially announced shortly thereafter. Additionally, autopsy reports detailed the extent of his injuries, further refuting these unfounded assertions. Medical examiners documented multiple gunshot wounds to Von's body, with injuries to vital organs that were consistent with the reported cause of death. These official medical records create an insurmountable challenge for conspiracy theorists who claim the rapper somehow survived the shooting. Some of the more elaborate conspiracy theories suggest that King Von staged his own death to escape from ops, legal troubles, or the pressures of fame. These claims often point to lyrics in his songs that mention faking death or disappearing, interpreting them as foreshadowing rather than artistic expression. The question remains, is King Von truly still alive? Well, this is what Lil Tim, the guy who shot King Von, said.
Did you think that King Von survived the shooting, or did you know that he was gone at that point?
No, I didn't know neither one, if he was gone or still alive. I just, like I say, I didn't even know it was him. So I didn't even know if he was dead or alive. I just was trying to make sure Quando was good.
Lil Tim told Vlad that he was unsure whether King Von was instantly killed or still alive after he shot at him. This interview contributed to the suspicion that Von was still alive. On top of that, Kosha also claimed that she spoke to King Von 16 times after his death.
He came to me and, he talked to me. He gave me messages to give to his family to let him know he's really around me.
But the authorities pronounced him dead. To understand why these conspiracy theories persist despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary, we need to consider several factors that typically drive such narratives. First, the emotional impact of King Von's death on his fan base cannot be overstated. For many diehard followers, accepting the sudden and violent end of a beloved artist is difficult. Denial is a common stage of grief, and some fans may subconsciously or consciously reject the painful reality of his passing by embracing alternative narratives. In an interview with No Jumper before his death, King Von spoke about his own mortality in a way that's particularly poignant in retrospect.
There ain't no lesson you can learn from it. That's what I hate.
I was just watching, that shit crazy, and it happened out of nowhere. Like, as soon as you wake up in the morning, I woke up to it. Like, I don't know who I woke up to. I think a lot of people woke up to it. But I woke up to it.
His words about unpredictable tragedy now seem prophetic, considering how his own life would end. The sudden nature of his death, occurring just as his career was reaching new heights, left many fans struggling to process the loss and perhaps more susceptible to believing alternative explanations. Again, posthumous releases of King Von's music and continued activity on his social media accounts, managed by his squad, can create an illusion of ongoing presence. His estate and label have been particularly active in maintaining his artistic legacy, with regular drops of previously recorded material and previously unseen footage. In February 2022, King Von's posthumous album What It Means to Be King reached number 2 on the Billboard 200 chart. The album featured unreleased verses and tracks that Von had recorded before his death, with additional contributions from artists like G Herbo and 21 Savage. The continuation of his musical legacy through new releases has kept his name in the public consciousness, providing fertile ground for conspiracy theories to take root. It's worth noting that these conspiracy theories persist despite clear statements from King Von's family and record label acknowledging his death. On November 18, 2020, his family released an official statement thanking fans for their support and discussing plans to keep his legacy alive through his music. The statement read in part, "We are heartbroken for his family, his friends, his team, and his fans. Long live Von." Similarly, Empire, his record label, confirmed his passing and expressed grief over the loss of their artist. The impact of King Von's death was felt deeply by his close associates, particularly Lil Durk, who had a brotherly bond with the fallen rapper. In the immediate aftermath, Durk broke his silence about Von's death, referring to him as his twin and expressing profound grief. Asian Doll, Von's girlfriend at the time of his death, has also been outspoken about her loss, sharing memories and maintaining that a part of her died along with Von. Some conspiracy theorists have pointed to Asian Doll's statements as evidence for their claims. In a now-deleted social media post, she reportedly claimed that it was police who killed Von, not Timothy Leaks. However, this statement contradicts official investigations and appears to be an emotional reaction rather than based on factual information. The grief-stricken statements of loved ones made in the immediate aftermath of a traumatic loss should not be taken as evidence contradicting the established facts of the case. The conspiracy theories surrounding King Von's death also reflect broader patterns of celebrity death hoaxes and conspiracy thinking in popular culture. Throughout history, similar theories have emerged following the deaths of figures like Elvis Presley, Tupac Shakur, and Michael Jackson. These theories often share psychological underpinnings related to denial, wishful thinking, and distrust of official narratives. For anyone seeking the truth about King Von's status, the evidence is clear and consistent. Official statements, medical records, witness accounts, and legal proceedings all confirm that Davon Bennett, known professionally as King Von, died on November 6, 2020. How King Von died. The events that led to King Von's death began in the early morning hours of November 6, 2020, outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta, Georgia. What started as a verbal altercation quickly escalated into physical violence and ultimately gunfire, claiming the life of one of Chicago's most promising drill rappers in a tragic sequence of events that unfolded in mere minutes. According to official reports from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, the incident began when King Von and his squad left the Opium nightclub and arrived at the Monaco Hookah Lounge at 255 Trinity Avenue. The time was approximately 3:20 a.m., and the area was still busy with nightlife activity. Von had been celebrating the release of his album, Welcome to O Block, which had dropped just 1 week earlier. What seemed like a typical night out took a deadly turn when a confrontation erupted between Von's group and another group of men outside the establishment. Multiple witnesses would later describe seeing two groups of men arguing in the parking lot before the situation quickly escalated. The argument reportedly began over something minor, though the exact catalyst for the confrontation remains unclear. Some reports suggest it may have been related to previous tension or someone getting disrespected, while others indicate it might have been a spontaneous dispute. Surveillance footage, which has been widely circulated online, captured the chaotic sequence of events. The footage was obtained from security cameras mounted outside the hookah lounge and provides a clear, albeit disturbing, visual record of how the confrontation unfolded. In the video, a man dressed in all white, identified as King Von, can be seen throwing the first punch, initiating a physical confrontation. The footage shows Von approaching another individual, now known to be Quando Rondo, and striking him without apparent warning. Within moments, the gathered crowd begins to scatter as gunfire erupts, marking a rapid escalation from a fistfight to a deadly shootout. The surveillance video captures people running for cover and vehicles speeding away from the area as multiple gunshots ring out. The entire incident, from the initial confrontation to the shooting, transpired in less than a minute, highlighting how quickly situations can turn fatal when straps are involved. Quando Rondo, who was present during the altercation, later provided his perspective on the incident in an interview. His account offers valuable context on how unexpected the confrontation was from his perspective.
Never. No. It just is one of them nights where what club popping the most down here, and that so happened to be the club, and I was
In the same interview, Quando claimed he had no prior knowledge that King Von would be at the location and was caught off guard by the confrontation.
I already told you, bro. I never knew it was a problem. I didn't pull up for that. To be honest, I was in the car asleep. Didn't even know, I didn't know that other artists is gonna be there. Nothing like that.
This account suggests that the meeting between the two groups was coincidental rather than planned, contradicting speculation that either party had deliberately sought out the other with the intention of causing harm. Quando Rondo further elaborated that he was unaware of any existing problem between himself and King Von that would have provoked such an attack. As the physical altercation unfolded, Timothy Lil Tim Leaks, an associate of Quando Rondo, allegedly opened fire, shooting King Von multiple times. According to witnesses, Leaks was in a vehicle nearby when the fight broke out and emerged with a burner when he saw Quando being assaulted. The surveillance footage appears to show someone opening fire from the periphery of the fight, though the quality of the video makes it difficult to definitively identify the shooter. According to the Atlanta Police Department's statement, King Von was shot during this initial exchange between the two groups, before police officers could intervene. At this time, our investigators believe Mr. Bennett was shot during the initial shootout between the two groups of males, prior to police responding and attempting to stop the shooting. This crucial detail dispelled early rumors that Von had been shot by police officers who were also present at the scene. Both on-duty and off-duty officers were in the vicinity and did discharge their weapons during the incident, but the APD confirmed that King Von's fatal injuries occurred before their intervention. The officers had been working in a security capacity at the nightclub and responded when they heard gunshots. The aftermath of the shooting was chaotic. 6 men were shot in total, with 2 fatalities, including King Von and Mark Blakely, a 34-year-old Chicago resident who was reportedly part of Von's entourage. King Von was transported to a hospital in critical condition, but ultimately succumbed to his injuries. The other victims had varying degrees of injuries, with some requiring surgery and others being treated and released. According to reports from those present, Von was initially conscious after being shot and was transported to the hospital in a private vehicle rather than waiting for an ambulance. This decision was made in an effort to get him medical attention as quickly as possible, but unfortunately, his injuries proved too severe. Timothy Lil Tim Leaks was also injured during the exchange of gunfire. He later recounted his experience of being wounded and the immediate aftermath.
Nah, my left leg didn't really get shot. And then I didn't even know I got shot until I got to the hospital the next morning and stuff like that. But I knew I got shot in the hip because I felt that. So my right hip, I wasn't walking on that. Like, I pulled myself up from the back of the truck. Like, I pulled myself up and I really like limped back to the door on my left leg because my left leg wasn't hurting.
Okay, so did you drive yourself to the hospital or did Quando drive you?
It was both. I'm the one who pulled off. Like, I was telling Quando to get in the car because there was so much going on.
Leak's account provides insight into the confusion and panic that followed the shooting, as the wounded attempted to seek medical attention while also trying to distance themselves from the scene of violence. Leaks was arrested and charged with felony murder on November 7th, 2020, while receiving treatment for his injuries at Grady Hospital. The Atlanta Police Department announced the arrest, stating, "Mr. Leaks is in police custody at Grady Hospital where he is undergoing treatment for a gunshot wound. The homicide of Bennett is closed with this arrest." Leaks was later released on a $100,000 bond in March 2021. After spending several months in custody. His release on bond was controversial, with many of King Von's fans expressing outrage on social media. However, it's important to note that release on bond is a standard part of the legal process and does not indicate any determination of guilt or innocence. In a surprising turn of events, the murder charge against Leaks was dismissed in August 2023, nearly 3 years after the shooting. According to his attorney, Noah Pines, the case was dismissed before formal indictment because prosecutors determined that Leaks acted in self-defense under Georgia's Stand Your Ground law. This law allows individuals to use deadly force if they reasonably believe it is necessary to prevent death or great bodily harm to themselves or others. Leaks later described the moment he learned the charges were dropped, providing a personal account of how he received this life-changing news.
Well, you get out, but the charges are still kind of hanging over your head for a while.
Right.
But then, August 2023, all charges dropped.
The dismissal of charges was a significant legal development that effectively closed the criminal case related to King Von's death. The decision by prosecutors indicates that they believe they could not successfully argue against a self-defense claim, given the evidence that King Von had initiated the physical confrontation. When Lil Tim eventually discovered that King Von had died, his reaction reflected his perspective on the situation and suggests that he viewed the tragedy as the result of Von's actions rather than his own.
When you did finally find out that it was King Von who died, how'd you feel?
I was like, damn, if Brian did that stupid shit last night, he still would have been alive. That's how I was. But I was like, shit, I ain't no the type person I am. Like, I'm a humble person.
This statement, while controversial, highlights the perspective held by Leaks and others in his camp, that the fatal outcome could have been avoided if Von had not initiated the physical confrontation. The circumstances of King Von's death highlight the volatile intersection of street politics and hip-hop culture. What began as a verbal confrontation escalated rapidly into lethal violence, demonstrating how quickly situations can spiral out of control when tensions run high and firearms are present. The tragedy serves as a stark reminder of the real-world consequences of conflict, particularly in environments where guns are readily accessible. The beef, the reactions, and the aftermath. The fatal shooting of King Von wasn't just an isolated tragedy, it was part of a complex web of street beef and gang-related altercations. Central to this narrative is the perceived beef between King Von and NBA YoungBoy, which many fans and commentators believed played a role in the events leading to Von's death. This perceived rivalry was complicated by the fact that Quando Rondo, who was involved in the altercation with Von, is signed to YoungBoy's Never Broke Again label. However, internet speculation may have overblown this conflict rather than reflecting deep-seated animosity between the artists. In one interview, King Von downplayed the tension, stating, "They be saying that a lot. It's like we got the same issues and hoes, and then you know how the internet will try to make it." Von's statement indicates that any tension may have been related to personal matters rather than professional rivalry. In another interview, King Von spoke about how internet speculation can drive artificial beefs and how the dynamics of social media and loyalty can create conflicts where none previously existed.
Game, man.
Shit. Tell us shit. What you mean in the
I'm
game?
talking about
On
the
the
rap
rap game? You telling, okay? That sick as bogus. Shit, what else? Yeah, it be just and then be choosing sides.
Despite King Von's dismissal of serious beef with NBA YoungBoy, the actual confrontation that led to his death involved Quando Rondo, an artist signed to YoungBoy's Never Broke Again label. This connection has fueled speculation about whether the altercation was related to broader tensions between the two camps. Some have suggested that Von's attack on Quando may have been related to Quando's affiliation with YoungBoy, though no concrete evidence supports this theory. When King Von died, the reactions from his inner circle were immediate and heartbreaking. Lil Durk, Von's close friend and label mate at Only the Family, OTF, was live streaming on Instagram when he learned of the shooting. Viewers witnessed his visible shock as comments about Von flooded in. The video captured the raw moment when Durk first received the news, his expression changing noticeably as he processed the information before abruptly ending the live stream. The relationship between Von and Durk was particularly close, with Durk having played a pivotal role in launching Von's music career. In a later interview with Academics, Lil Durk reflected on his relationship with King Von and the impact of his death.
Knock it out. We'll respect it.
This statement illustrates how Durk had been instrumental in providing Von with platforms and opportunities, showcasing the professional aspect of their relationship alongside their personal bond. In the years following Von's death, the tension between OTF and NBA Never Broke Again intensified, often playing out in music and on social media. The conflict, which had previously existed primarily at the level of fan speculation, seemed to solidify and intensify following Von's death. NBA YoungBoy released tracks that were perceived as disses to Von's legacy, including Bring the Hook, with lyrics targeting Chicago's O Block. This That Squid Game, oh Block Pack Get Rolled Up. This explicit reference to Von's hood was widely interpreted as disrespectful to his memory and legacy. The track prompted responses from Von's sister, Kayla B, as well as from Lil Durk, who appeared to respond in his own music. The back and forth between the camps continued across multiple songs and social media exchanges, with fans eagerly dissecting lyrics for subliminal shots and implied threats. What had once been dismissed as internet speculation by Von himself had evolved into a very real and increasingly hostile conflict between two of hip-hop's most prominent collectives. The legal aftermath of the shooting took several unexpected turns. Initially, Timothy Leaks was charged with felony murder in connection with King Von's death. He remained in custody until March 2021, when he was released on a $100,000 bond. For over 2 years, the case proceeded through the legal system, with Leaks awaiting indictment and trial. However, in August 2023, those charges were dismissed before the case was formally indicted based on Georgia's Stand Your Ground law. According to Leaks' attorney, Noah Pines, the case against Mr. Leaks was dismissed prior to ever being indicted. This decision effectively ended the criminal proceedings against Leaks without a trial, leaving many of Von's fans feeling that justice had not been served. Following his release, Lil Tim released a song titled Left a Stain, which many interpreted as a reference to King Von's death. The song and its accompanying music video, which depicted him removing his house arrest ankle monitor, generated significant controversy and was seen by many as disrespectful to Von's memory. The track further inflamed tensions between the opposing camps and their respective fan bases. In October 2024, the case took another dramatic turn when Lil Durk was arrested near Miami International Airport on federal charges, including conspiracy to commit murder for hire. The charges alleged that Durk orchestrated a plot targeting Quando Rondo in retaliation preparation for King Von's death, resulting in the death of Rondo's cousin, Saviaya Lulpab Robinson. 5 members of the OTF collective were also arrested in connection with this alleged retaliatory plot. According to court documents, an unnamed co-conspirator offered money and lucrative music opportunities with OTF to execute the plot against Quando Rondo. The FBI alleged that Lil Durk had placed a bounty on Quando following King Von's death, further illustrating the cycle of violence that emerged in the wake of the 2020 shooting. The specific details of the alleged plot were revealed in court documents, claiming that in August 2022, 5 OTF associates, Kevin London Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Bryan Lindsay, and Asa Houston, traveled from Chicago to Los Angeles to carry out the hit. The target was allegedly Quando Rondo, but Robinson was killed instead. The indictment described the use of OTF credit cards to book same-day flights and other logistics for the operation. Durk has pleaded not guilty to all charges, and his trial was initially scheduled for January 2025, but has been pushed back to October 2025. If convicted, he could face a significant prison sentence, potentially life imprisonment. This legal situation represents one of the most direct and serious consequences of the ongoing fallout from King Von's death. On social media, posts highlighted how fans pressured Durk to slide for Von, meaning to take retaliatory action. These posts suggest that fan expectations and internet culture may have contributed to the ongoing cycle of violence. The phenomenon of fans encouraging violent retaliation highlights the problematic intersection of entertainment and real-world conflict, where audiences expecting performers to live up to their lyrical personas may inadvertently push artists toward destructive actions. One post from @DailyLoud stated, "Fans are blaming internet trolls for pressuring Lil Durk to retaliate after King Von was murdered. Kept asking Durk to slide for Von. He did it, now he's locked up." This sentiment reflects a growing recognition among some fans about the real-world consequences of the pressure placed on artists to maintain certain images or fulfill expectations of loyalty and retaliation. King Von's story continues to unfold through legal proceedings, posthumous releases, and the ongoing impact of his work. What remains clear is that his life and death have left an indelible mark on hip-hop culture, serving as both a cautionary tale and a testament to the power of authentic storytelling in music. If you love this video, then click on the card showing on your screen for more videos.